Good morning. It's the 15th of September. It's funny, I checked the date, then I immediately look back and have to check the date again. 15th of September. It's like when you walk into a garage and you've just filled up your car with fuel. And even though you've checked the number as you went in, and they say, what number are you? Still look out the window. Don't you, just for that double check? Oh, so a bit of a serious message today. I've got a lot of notes, and I think we should just go for it and get straight on.
It's the start of the week. Grab your coffee cups. It's Magic Monday Live.
Biddling. Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Magic Monday Live on the 15th of September, 2025. And the theme today is about choosing love. And I've written a lot of stuff down. So please stick with it here because I do want to get through everything. I've thought very carefully because you have to think so carefully about what you write and about why you write it and what you say. And I'm going to share something that's happened over the last week with me on Facebook that has really been quite bizarre, very bizarre actually. But I'm going to share that. I'm going to talk a bit about love, a bit about why we need to, move on from a lot of the hate that's been happening this weekend, and maybe a few ideas of things that we can do. So, oh my goodness, this weekend was fascinating. It's been a weekend of, and this is the media, by the way. I'm talking about what's happening in the media and what's happening around the world. Probably for the last 7 days, actually, probably for the last few weeks, but it's mounted to the last sort of 7 days or so. And there's a lot of negativity at the moment. There's a lot of people who are feeling division. There's a lot of extremism. There's a lot of opinion, which is based on no fact, just based on opinion. There's a lot of people at various ends of political divide that are properly going to extremes. And whether you switch on the news or scroll through social media, you overhear conversations, you have conversations. The bit that sounds loudest is the volume of hate, unfortunately. And the hate feels a lot louder at the moment than the love. So what if we were to do something a little bit different? Now, this is just, a handful of people are going to see this, but it's worth it. It's strange what a handful of people see, and it's strange what a lot of people see. But what if the people who are watching this could create just a little bit more love? If we were responsible for creating our own little bit more love, what that might look like. But we have to go back a step first and think about, well, why is it that hate seems to be on the rise? So it's extremism. That's what seems to be the problem at the moment. And it's not just about politics or religion. It's about some individuals who want to push people apart. And if they can make us see each other as enemies, it helps their agenda. Now, I'm not talking about any kind of big conspiracy theorist stuff here. I'm not talking about the fact that there's, 10 people with lizard heads running the world or anything like that. I'm just talking about the basic stuff, like how people sell newspapers and how people sell news and how people sell certain things. And they do it by creating fear, because fear is much easier, isn't it? It's much easier to have people being fearful of each other, fighting against each other, so they're not looking at where the real problems might be. So it's an uncomfortable truth, but hate is profitable. Oh, man. The media absolutely thrives on outrage. The super powerful people, they benefit from division. And they tell us what we should be doing and how we should be thinking. Products, newspapers, policies even are sold more easily when they're fueled with fear. It's much easier to create fear for something that we want to avoid than creating love for something that we want to go towards. My example of this happened last week. So I put a post on Facebook. Now I do these things on Facebook and I do posts and various bits and bobs, and I might get, I don't know, 4 or 5 comments, 30 likes, a couple of shares. I put a post on Facebook last week. It's currently had 12,300 reactions, 977 shares, and 1,300 comments. If you haven't seen it, it was basically somebody had decided that the racist use of the St. George flag had been sprayed onto a bollard, not onto a roundabout, onto a bollard. And then they'd coloured in the sides, pink one corner, pink the other corner, yellow the top corner, yellow the other corner. So it looked like Battenberg cake. And I wrote, this is brilliant. The racist use of the St. George flag being turned into Battenberg cake, which I thought was quite a light thing. Oh my goodness. It was extraordinary what happened. A lot of people obviously haven't got the ability to read very well. That's the first thing. So they hadn't actually read what I wrote. I didn't say that the St. George flag was racist. I said the racist use of. But that seemed to have gone over the top of a few people's heads. The other thing was, I wasn't saying that everybody in the world was racist. Of course not. I wasn't saying that people shouldn't be concerned about certain things. That's their business, not my business. I was commenting on a very specific thing, but oh boy, it went crazy. And I just let people have their own little battles. I thought, you cannot win a Facebook argument, so don't even get involved with a Facebook argument. Shouldn't do that. You're going to end up, where you cannot win. You really can't win. But it was pretty much the most emotional and reactive thread that I'd ever seen. Absolutely extraordinary. More comments than anything else I've ever written. Other than I think I did a thing on LinkedIn once about having a post with no agenda. I just walked up and down the street talking about a post with no agenda, and that really took off. That went global. That one. So basically, my 2 best posts for interactions have been a post with no agenda, where I walked up and down the street just talking about having no agenda, and secondly, a thing about a St. George's Cross vandalism being turned into Battenberg cake. What a world! What a world! However, there is these 2 different energies that are out there. So forget about the subject, okay? Forget about the subjects. Forget about any sort of belief or whatever. Just think about where you're coming from and where other people are coming from. Hate is quick, lazy, and destructive. I'll say it again. Hate is quick, lazy, and destructive. Love is harder. It takes courage, but it transforms. And yes, I am checking my notes, so I was really pleased when I wrote that today. So hate is quick, lazy, and destructive. Love is harder, takes courage, but transforms. So what if we just took a little bit of ownership and responsibility, because we can't control governments. We like to think we can through elections and stuff like that, but generally we can't. We definitely can't control the billionaires who are spreading hate, or the algorithms that are designed to cause problems, or the Russian bots. And yeah, there was a fair few Russian bots that I'm assuming they're Russian bots. They're definitely bots anyway. There's a way you can tell. There's this little thing where you can check and see how many of your comments have probably been written by bots. It was quite surprising, actually. We can't control the bots and the algorithms, but what we can control is how much love we create in our own lives. So there's lots of things we can do, little micro actions. Just telling people that you love them. Send them a lovely message. Tell someone you've been thinking about them. Show some patience in difficult situations, with difficult conversations. Do something uplifting. post something uplifting rather than joining in with the outrage. God, I would much rather one of these posts had 1,300 comments rather than St. George's flag being turned into Battenberg cake. What I wish for. But here's the thing. Extremism loses its power when love wins. Any type of extremism. It will lose its power when love wins. Love isn't passive. It's active. It's intentional. Love can also sometimes be rebellious in its own way. So here's an idea. Maybe the most radical thing that you could do right now is to love more. How about that? The most radical thing that you could do right now is love people more. Hate's always going to shout. There's no doubt about it. But love will always shine. This week, my challenge to you is to create a little more love. And you know what's lovely? The first thing that pops up on my Instagram post is my brother just sending a heart. I love you, Andrew. It's so lovely just to see that. Just made my day there with one little heart. What a lovely thing. I'm going to see if there's anybody else tuning in. See, this is the thing. I have a little look. And I'm kind of going, where are people tuning in from? And it's so interesting, isn't it? Right now, if I was creating hate and division, I would get a lot more responses. The fact I'm sharing love and acceptance, I know I'll get less, and I don't care. I really don't care, because every single one that does come in. There's Caroline just saying it's very true. I hope it's true. Definitely is true. Here's Alfie Joey. Speak easy guy, Alfie Joey. I saw that post. My old lovely pit village is like Pall Mall on a royal wedding day. But I've seen the posts from people I grew up with, and it is unpleasant. I'm going to calm down with Battenberg. Alfie Joey, one of the kindest, most gentle, brilliant people. Brilliant mind, brilliant communicator, brilliant at helping other people to get the best out of their lives. Dedicates his life to that, to making other people feel really great about themselves. What a job. That's love. That really is love. Thank you for that, Alfie. That is really great to see. So I think I've made my point. If you want to leave a comment, that would be amazing. That would be great. And if you don't, that's also great. If you just want to share a heart, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. I will be back next week for more Magic Monday live. I should have had All You Need Is Love set up right now. That would have been good, wouldn't it? Wish I'd thought of that. Never mind. Here we go. See you next week. Bye.